Welcome back. We are now beginning our Tuesday, February 25th, regular closed session meeting of the EBMUD Board of Directors. Roll call, Madam Secretary.
Director Chan.
Present.
Director Gomez.
Here.
Director Katz.
Present.
Director Lewis.
Here.
Director Odie.
Here.
Director Smith.
Present.
President Young.
I am here. Okay, we're now on to public comment. If there are members of the public online who wish to speak on agenda or non-agenda items, please use the raise your hand feature in Zoom. Comments and well, for this session, comments will be heard before we adjourn to closed session. Are there any commenters online?
No online public comments
And are there any comments from the public?
none in the audience.
Okay, well then we will move to convene our closed session. However, we'll do that for agenda items 1 through 3. We are scheduled to return for our regular meeting. Did we? Oh, we're going to discuss it in closed session. Okay. All right, great. So we will now adjourn to conference room 8 for our closed session agenda items 1 to 3, and hope to return here by 1:15. Welcome back for our open session regular business meeting. Tuesday, February 25th, 2025. And we will receive a report from this morning's long-term water supply workshop and the Finance and Administration Committee under agenda item 11. Just as a future note, we will be moving those committee reports to the top of the meeting in the future, as suggested by somebody, I can't remember who, but not today. Can we do roll call, please?
Director Chan.
Present.
Director Gomez.
Present.
Director Katz.
Present.
Director Lewis.
Here.
Director Odie.
Here.
Director Smith.
Present.
President Young.
Here. You're right.
4 to 3.
Okay. Let's, please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. For those of you that were wondering about our little chuckle there, I have been observing for a long time the fact that some of our board members say the word present during roll call, and some of them say the word here during roll call, and it has changed since our board has changed. And Jim said, or Director Odie said, oh, it's 4 to 3, 4 present, 3 here. And I thought, oh, gosh, she keeps track of details. I should pay attention to that. And sure enough, it's 4-3. So there's probably a little bit more ethnographic research to do there about why it's 4 to 3, but we'll leave that a mystery for now. Okay, announcements from closed session. Oh, we're gonna, actually, sorry. We're gonna do a recognition for Women's History Month first, before our announcements from closed session. Starting Saturday, it is the beginning of Women's History Month, and the theme is Moving Forward Together, Women Educating and Inspiring Generations, which seems particularly apropos. The District Women's Employee Resource Opportunity Collaboration Community, which thankfully has a lovely acronym, We Rock, was founded in 2023 to promote understanding, goodwill, fellowship, and communication among women and all district employees. In honor of the occasion, We Rock has organized a series of events throughout the month, held virtually and at various district locations, including an educational session on family leave, 2 days of SimLog training, which is a virtual reality training tool for heavy equipment operation. Small group discussions about recruitment and retention of women in the workforce, an egg drop mixer in collaboration with Infrastructure Week, Girl Scout events at the watersheds, which I hope includes cookies, and a mentorship networking mocktail mixer to close out the month. All sounds lots of fun. We, the Board of Directors, encourage all employees to support We Rock and take part in Women's History Month. Okay. Announcements from closed session. 2 announcements. First, the board met in closed session this morning to consider a request by the General Counsel to authorize the initiation of litigation. All directors were present at the closed session, and all directors present voted to authorize the General Counsel to initiate litigation in one matter. The action, the parties, and other particulars will be disclosed upon inquiry once the action is formally commenced. And second, this morning's regular closed session has been adjourned to this afternoon until immediately following the conclusion of the regular board meeting. The board will convene immediately following this regular meeting right here in the district boardroom and continue consideration of item 3 of the regular closed session agenda and will not consider any new items. The board will return to the boardroom after the closed session for any announcements from closed session. There are no other announcements from closed session. Okay, well, that moves us on to public comment. If members of the public are online and wish to speak on agenda or non-agenda items, please use the raise your hand feature in Zoom. Give that a second to percolate. Madam Secretary, do we have any hands for public comment?
No online public comment. You do have a card at your place.
Okay, yeah, I was going to get to that. Comments on non-agenda items will be heard now, and comments on agenda items will be heard when that item is up for consideration. I have one blue card for a non-agenda item. So we will take that when, after I call you, please state your name and affiliation, if applicable, and the topic. Please refrain from providing other personal information, such as your address or phone number. We will contact you if this information is needed, or ask you to contact staff if that information is needed. The secretary will call you in the order received. In this case, it's just one person, so I will call it. And you have 3 minutes to speak. As for on non-agenda items, the board is very limited in terms of the response that they can make per the Brown Act. So with that, all of that, Kelly Taylor, if you would come forward. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Your time
And thank you for educating me about Women's History Month. I'm here today I'm the proud elected official for the South Comanche Shore Mobile Homeowners Association. I'm the president. And on the board, there's 3 women. So our vice president is a woman and our secretary. So we're really excited about that. So I came today to introduce myself, even though I was here presently in December. We're really excited to work with all of you, and we hope that we can educate you about our little South Comanche. We would love to have people come up for a field trip. If you would be so, you would like us to tour you, we would love that. One of the reasons that I'm here, not only as the president, but also as the homeowner, with that, we have not received any information, and we've inquired about a bulletin board on site at the park or ways that we can contact the homeowners. Next to our mailboxes at both North and South Shore Comanche, these are closed mailboxes. There is a bulletin board, but we're not able to access and post any information on those boards to alert homeowners of meetings. So we would love to be able to have access to those bulletin boards instead of flyers just being sat by the mailboxes. And of course, with the wind events, that's been very problematic because the flyers have been blowing away. And then secondly, we just received a packet in the mail that I have received from Vista Recreation that was presented to all the homeowners with many tabs in it, asking us just to sign, but there's no documentation on if anyone has any questions, who we pose those questions to. So that's very problematic. And there's sections in here that talk about fire and fire abatement. And if there was a fire at Comanche, there's a section in here that says that it would be at board's discretion if homeowners would even have the ability to have a home present at Comanche if the property was destroyed. So as you can imagine, that opened up a lot of conversation with the homeowners, and they just keep asking me what would be the best venue to be able to address their questions. And so I too am looking for that venue to address those questions. As the homeowner president, I'm trying to find my way around and who I should be working with. Both the North Shore president and myself have met several times, but we would love to be able to have that venue to address questions. So thank you for your time, and it was a pleasure to be here formally.
Is that a matter of getting a key or something?
I'll
To
have
open the
staff
bulletin board?
follow up on some of those
Okay.
questions.
Yeah, and then seems reasonable to have a designated East Bay Mud representative that's doing regular meetings with you to address questions like that.
I
Okay.
appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Hopefully, congratulations. Okay, moving along, we are now up to the consent calendar, agenda items 1 through 8. Are there, I don't think we have any comments from the public or online. Okay. Are there any board members who would like to pull any items for further consideration?
I can move approval.
Okay. Have a motion from Director Odie, a second from Director Katz for items 1 through 8. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstain? That passes unanimously. Okay, we now will go on to determination and discussion, leading off with the scintillating item of actuarial valuations of the Employees Retirement Board.
It's very scintillating, especially
From our-
with
from
Robbie
our
presenting.
aspiring actuary.
That's an
He's
inside.
He learns that they-
already
Harper
started the
said-
test right now, so.
You're never going to live that down, Robbie.
Okay, so Robbie is here to talk about the actuarial evaluation report, as well as the proposed contributions for fiscal year 2026. I'll just note that this was discussed at the Finance Administration Committee meeting this morning, and the committee unanimously accepted staff's recommendation.
Okay, there we go. Yep, thank you for that introduction. We can dive right into this exciting topic. So under our retirement ordinance, we're required to conduct an actuarial valuation once every 2 years at least, but in practice, we do it every year. And I think that's pretty common to do it every year. And then as part of this, we both adopt our actual valuations and we set the contribution rates for the following fiscal year. And so today we're asking the board to accept the valuations that are in your packet, those reports, and adopt the contribution rates for fiscal year 2026. So this table has a lot of numbers in it. It's trying to summarize those big reports that are in your packet. One thing to note is that our market value of assets increased in 2024 by $262 million. So the assets grew that we have set aside for benefits, grew by $262 million to $2.5 billion in total. Our funded ratio did increase a little from 74% to 75%, and that's our pension and HIB plans combined. Our unfunded liability also increased a little, so it's now at $817 million in unfunded liability. And then, of course, like I said, the reports in your packet have all the underlying details on this. And those reports, it's important to note, were reviewed at the Retirement Board last month, and then also reviewed this morning at the Finance Committee, and approved at both meetings. Okay, any questions on this? Move on. Sorry about that. Okay, and then as part of conducting our actual evaluations, we set our contribution rates for the following year. So this table provides the proposed district contribution rates, also known as the employer contribution rates. And it includes both the normal cost and paying down some of the unfunded liability. The pension rate, contribution rate increased a bit, and this is largely due to changes in assumptions, higher than assumed salary increases, and then higher than assumed cost of living adjustments for retirees. So all of those raised the contribution rate just a little bit. If you can follow on that table, they'll be a little bit higher in 2026 to 2025. And then the HIB contribution rate actually went down a little bit due to a higher payroll that it's spread across. But the net effect is a slightly higher rate for 2026 for the district. Okay. Second part of this is are the employee contribution rates for the next fiscal year. And as you know, our pension has two tiers. There's the what we call the 1980 plan, and that contribution rate is set in our MOUs, not here. So that has already been set, no change for next fiscal years. And then the other tier, the 2013 tier, that's for employees hired on or after 2013. And that contribution rate is subject to PEPRA state law. And that state law requires that the employee contribution rate be at least 50% of the normal cost. And that rate is scheduled to increase by 0.67% of payroll next fiscal year. Questions on any of this? Okay, well, we're almost done. As I mentioned earlier, these reports and these contribution rates were at our Retirement Board in January. They were also at the Finance Committee this morning, where they were approved at both. And so now the action here is to adopt a resolution to accept the actual evaluations and set the contribution rates for the next fiscal year. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Is there any report from the Finance Committee on the item?
As mentioned at the beginning by the general manager, we recommended approval based on the staff presentation. Thanks.
No other comments or discussion?
No.
Okay. Any other questions from board members? Or I will entertain a motion.
I'll move.
Second.
Okay. Moved by Director Gomez, seconded by Director Katz. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? None. Abstain? None. Passed unanimously. Okay, that was our last action item. Now move on to the general manager's report.
Yes, so we have one item, and that's the water supply update, and we have Roberto Cortez, our manager of water operations, to provide the update.
Good afternoon, President Young, Board of Directors. I have some information for you on our water supply conditions. We'll get going here. I'll talk a little bit about our current water supply and also what the rest of the year looks like. This graph here, we include it on a regular basis. It's just our gross water production trends. The red line is the current year. We're averaging about 159 million gallons per day production. You could see in January how that jumped up a little bit. It was relatively dry. People started using water, and then it started wet. It got wet, right? And people started using less water. So you could see that in that trend there. This table represents what our current storage levels are. 2 weeks ago, on Tuesday, I was here, and we were expecting a good amount, a good storm, and that storm did come through. It did boost our storage levels. So we were roughly at that time about 71% of capacity. We're about 82% now. So it was a good burst of water in there. We included this slide here. It's a picture of the Upper San Leandro Reservoir spillway. 2 weeks ago, as I mentioned, we had that good storm. We ended up filling Upper San Leandro. It spilled a little bit for 5 days. The max spill out of the spillway was 30 CFS. Typically, what we do when it's dry and no rain is expected, we do make some planned releases out of USL and Chabot, and we did so at that time. We are currently releasing 60 CFS out of USL and 100 CFS out of Chabot. The goal is always to get back to our normal winter levels, and that's the plan right now. We expect that to continue for a little bit of time, although I will talk a little bit about some rain in the forecast, which will change how we operate the releases here. Okay, so this is as of February 19th. If you look at the blue graph in February, we are actually in the East Bay exceeding the February averages. Overall, we received 14.6 inches of rain, which is 79% of average. And like I mentioned, we do have some rain in the forecast. The 14-day forecast shows up to 2 inches of rain in the East Bay. So that's good news for us. The McCallum precipitation table here, or graph, once again, we did get a good amount of rain in February, and so far we're at 25.1 inches of precipitation, about 80% of average. Up there as well, we're expected to receive up to 3 inches of rain over the next 14 days, starting on Saturday. Snowpack, we actually got a little bit more than 2 feet of snow at Cape Holes. You can see that in that red, the big jump there. So we're doing pretty good. As of the 19th, we're at 109% of average. And we do expect a little bit more coming out of this storm. Not much, not 2 feet, but a little bit more. And every bit helps. The state snowpack also did well as a result of the last storm. The central area, we're about 90% of normal. So in the northern part, we're actually above average there. This is a NOAA graph that we like to include. It's outlook of April, May, and June. This changes quite a bit, but when we took this information at that time, NOAA was looking at a lower than average precipitation outlook for the next 3 months. But like I said, that changes quite a bit. Projected precipitation for the remainder of the year. If it's a wet year, we're expected to receive more than average compared to our historical years. Even in a dry scenario here, the 90% exceedance, we're going to receive a lot more than our lowest amount, which is this line here. So it's not bad. Oh. And finally, end of season storage. This last storm, like I said, did put some more water in our reservoirs, more snowpack in the watershed. Even in the dry scenario, although we're not expected to fill our reservoirs at 630,000 acre feet, we're definitely well above that drought scenario, stage 0 there. And if we have more rain, as expected, this will keep looking good. And that's it. Any questions?
Questions? Director Chan?
Quick question. So is the golf course in Castro Valley usable right now?
I don't think so.
Okay,
I think it's still drying out.
thank you.
Still soggy. And yesterday was the state snow survey, is that right?
No, that's, I think it's Monday.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I thought I heard a news report that it was at It's fine, so it's Monday, all right. So it looks like we're not looking at a dry year. It'll be a normal or maybe wet, depending on what happens in March, right?
Yeah, relatively, it's dry in that we may not reach our average amounts, but we'll have enough to be.
But I mean, in
above.
terms of what is classified as.
Correct. Yeah,
Normal or wet, but not dry, or certainly not critical dry.
could be, yeah, definitely not critical dry, yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? Nope. Thank you, Roberto.
Thank you.
Thank you, Roberto. And at your places is the Speakers Bureau, and that's the end of my report.
Okay, and are there any comments from the public on any of these items? Nope. Okay. Time for committee reports. The minutes for the January and February 11th, 2025 Planning Committee meeting are in the agenda materials. And then the board met this morning for a long-term water supply workshop. Staff presented information on the district's water supply, our alternative water sources, what we're planning for the future, as well as updates on demand, drought planning, the need for water, and future supplemental supply sources. The materials for that workshop are posted on the website. And next steps include preparation of our 2025 urban water management plan, and an upcoming workshop in November. Following on that topic, there will also be a public hearing, public meeting on that plan before it is finalized. Do we have a report, or we'll now get an update on this morning's Finance Administration Committee meeting? I don't know whether there's something that should be covered.
I can announce what we reviewed. So in addition to the monthly investment transaction report and the employees retirement system fiscal year 2024 update that the board approved in this meeting so far, the Finance and Administration Committee also accepted the reports for quarterly financial reports and fiscal year 2025 annual budget performance report. We also reviewed the plans for a request for proposal for termination of the California Shakespeare Theater operations and parameters for a request for proposals for a successor operation.
Okay, anything from other members to add? No? Okay. Other items for future consideration. I would also say, since our last meeting, the board had a retreat up at the Joaquin Miller Conference Center on February 13th. That was attended by all and quite productive and I think helpful in fostering the collaboration among the board that we would like to see and will need in order to meet the challenges that we have ahead of us over this next few months. If there are any other items for future consideration, and I haven't heard anything else brought up today for that, please submit those to myself and the general manager. And now we can move on to director comments. If you haven't submitted if you've already submitted your written comments, that's great. Or reports to the secretary. Are there any verbal director comments or reports? We can start with Director Smith and work our way down.
Sure, thank you. Oh, you're right, we all did attend the retreat, and I found it very much allowing for clarity of roles and responsibility, collaboration, understanding communication styles and preferences, great team building to learn the strengths and gain, if not gird, the trust of each other. I thought it was it was good. A lot of teamwork going on. Also, that evening on the 13th, I attended the Contra Costa Mayors Conference. It was in Moraga this time, and it bounces around the different 19 cities. And it was just a basic introduction as the new ward director for Ward 1. It was good. Saw some familiar faces. Antonio was all smiles, for those of you who know. Let's see. On the 21st, I attended the Barbara Lee and Ella Hugh Harris lecture series in Oakland. It was very, very interesting seeing Hakeem Jeffries, and our homegrown Latifah Simon was always the ever consummate presenter, so it was good. Let's see, a lot of good community outreach with that. And on Sunday, it wasn't something that was on my schedule, but I knew we were gonna be there, so I ran by the Black Joy celebration in Oakland. We sponsored on behalf of our BEN, Black Employee Network, and I actually did a little community outreach by the booth. It was fun, showing folks how they can get jobs here and entertaining with the children and spinning the wheel. It was a good time. Glad to have been there. Heads up to the folks who were out there practically all day at that booth. Oh my goodness. So, yeah, it takes a lot regardless of the weather. Thank you.
Quick report that on February 20th, I attended an EBMUD community meeting online where we reviewed the Release Valley Road in Lafayette pipeline project, and we had a good attendance by residents and some good questions, and we had a chance to introduce the project and answer concerns. That's about it for me.
Okay, I also attended the retreat, obviously, and have the same feedback as Director Smith, so I won't repeat it. On the 18th, I had the honor of appearing in front of the Alameda City Council, where I served for 6 years. It was different being on the other side and taking questions instead of asking them, but they're very gracious and, gave us 10 minutes to make a presentation, and I was able to talk about some of the construction projects going on in Alameda, as well as it was an outdated version of the water supply, but at least the water supply as of that date. So I appreciated that, and there were some questions. And as always, I want to appreciate Sun Kwang for his help and helping answer questions and helping us be prepared. So shout out to Community Affairs, really great team we have there. And then on the 22nd, which was Saturday, an opportunity to come back down here, downtown Oakland, participate in the Oakland Chinatown Lunar New Year Parade. Director Chan was there as well. It was a great time. Nice to see a lot of people activating the neighborhood. And, I stopped by the booth, so it was great to see the people working in the booth, super enthused, and very, very positive attitude as well. So just a couple of quick things coming up. I do think I have a ward update before our next meeting. Maybe not, that's on the 13th, a ward meet and greet. And then as part of introducing ourselves to our local governing bodies on the 3rd, I'll be going to San Leandro City Council. Again, Director Chen and I share that, so I'm just kind of a side act. And then I think on the 26th, we're going to the Unincorporated Services Committee in San Leandro, so hopefully she'll be there as well. Take the brunt of their questions.
I have nothing from the past 2 weeks to report that I can recollect anyway. Oh, other than that, I actually ran into a couple of our crews out in the field, and one working on a pipeline break downtown Oakland and out in the night, and another down by Jack London Square, actually. So I can vouch that our folks are out there working hard. And I introduced myself, but they didn't really forgot who I was, which is okay, because they were working. And then coming up, I have a couple of events in Orinda City Council presentation on our Camino Sobrante pipeline replacement project, and then a more general presentation to the Orinda Valley Garden Club, and I think we have Contra Costa, isn't there a mayor's conference? Alameda Mayor's Conference is coming up, but I'm not sure if it's before the next board meeting. That's it for me.
As Director Odie said, we were at this great event together in Chinatown on Saturday, and, it just continues to be a delight to work with you, Director Odie.
Likewise.
Yeah, we do have a lot of fun. We share a lot of territory, actually. As far as the events that we've been to, I was at the Alameda County Mayor's Conference in Pleasanton. There was a presentation by Stop Waste Org, and I thought that was the best presentation I've ever seen on recycling. What needs recycling, what you throw in the garbage, what goes in compost. That gave me so much clarity, but I missed Director Gomez at that event, but Director Gomez, I think you and I have a lot of community outreach work to do. I did talk to people in Pleasanton and people in Dublin who would like tours of the Durwa facility. Okay. And then let me see, what else is there? Oh, yeah, don't forget this Thursday is the APA Lunar New Year luncheon. I don't know if it's too late to buy tickets to that or to get in, but that's happening this Thursday and I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, along attending the retreat where my team built the tallest tower, which will not carry water. It will not carry water, but it was great. On the 15th, I think I had announced previously that I was moderating a panel during the water law symposium. It involved potable water, wastewater treatment, and then water rights for indigenous peoples of California. Excellent symposium. I spent the entire day there. I also shared, and I hope that General Manager Chan shared the fact that EBMUD's name came up several times, basically referencing what a leader we're considered in the water community and acknowledging, generally speaking, how well run we are. On the 21st, I also attended the Barbara Lee and Elihu Harris lecture series, along with Director Smith there, where EBMUD was recognized as a sponsor.
I also enjoyed our team building and other engagement at the retreat. And this Thursday, we'll be attending the East Bay Wildfire Coalition meeting.
Okay, well, I think that is all we have. Where's my, yep, that's it. We have nobody to adjourn in recognition of. We are adjourning the regular meeting, and upon adjournment, we'll reconvene for our closed session. Our next regular meeting will be on Tuesday, March 11th at 1:15 p.m., and this meeting is now adjourned. Yeah, well.